And actually, Massachusetts ranks 76. That's the worst. So they see the ranking up at the top there. $76,600 to live in Massachusetts. I never thought of that. Is that a pricey state?
Wait, hold on. You're looking. Which one are you looking at?
I'm on the Forbes one that's like
Forbes?
really cool.
And what's it saying there?
Massachusetts 76,600. That ranks as the highest. You need the highest salary of all states.
That makes sense because Smart Asset puts this together here. So if we're looking at Smart Asset, they've got the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. That's how they calculate what you need. And they say the salary needed for a single working adult, number one state, Massachusetts. But they say based on the 50-30-20, which is 50%, fixed what your expenses are, and then 30% discretionary, 20% savings, $116,022. So
what's happening?
You got to make a lot more money to live in Massachusetts, regardless. But average salaries.
I mean, it's kind of an eye. I'm going to West Virginia. Well, no, I'm going to go to Mississippi. What's wrong with Mississippi?
Income for 2 working adults raising 2 children. Massachusetts, they're saying the 50-30-20 rule, based on this, $301,184 needed to live.
No, I don't want to work that hard.
It's funny though because we just had clients that visited us that live in Massachusetts and work for a company up there, and I mean they do well, but still I find talking with them, what I found was that they had an extensive amount of income that they were able to save. Talking through everything with them, so this is kind of interesting to hear after talking with them. This is what they're saying you need. I think that maybe these numbers are a bit liberal and kind of on the side of
better be.
People are spending some real money. I mean, 30% discretionary. If you're making $300,000 a year, I mean that's $90,000 of discretionary. Which they're taking out taxes, but still, I mean that's driving a Range Rover.
We need to do a screenshot of this one here because what's to me the most shocking is if you look at the hourly wage you would need to make as a single adult. Mm-hmm. How much did you make? I mean, now granted, I was younger, but man, I don't recall these numbers. $50 an hour?
Yeah. Well, we'll look at, so on page 4, it's the worst, the cheapest state, not the worst state, the cheapest state. West Virginia, $37.88 an hour or $78,790 a year.
Yeah,
family of 4. Family of 4 still in West Virginia, $189,363. I just,
if you made good money though, you could live like a king there, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't know. I've never lived in West Virginia. Couldn't tell you. But Florida, we do live in. $44.86 an hour. $93,309 if you're a salary based on a single person to live comfortably. Cody's here. I mean, Cody lives, in Florida and he's single. Cody, what do you think about that number? What? Oh, you actually have a mic? Let's go.
I think it's probably right. I mean, it feels really high.
You think that's high? Or
I think it's expensive, but I think it's probably right.
Probably right. Wow.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a single person renting here is now probably $2,000 a month in a nice, decent apartment.
Yeah.
So you've got $209,082 for a family of 4.
Well, so if you're a dude in Florida and you're like, well, I make $93,000, then if you go meet a woman, you know what she need to make.
Yeah, she needs to make over 100. But so what's the average salary here though? Average salary Florida, based on Forbes, is only $55,980.
Oh,
so you're $40,000 off of what you need.
We could easily go down some really tough roads here, but let's do some tips, right? Don't get bummed out. You know what I mean? Just hang in there. You're gonna be fine.
Right.
What can you do to be more efficient with your money? Make it go a longer ways. Maybe you fit into this. Maybe you don't.
Well, if you look at this Smart Asset thing, to me, I'm just like, man, if I would have looked at this 10 years ago, let's go 15 years back, 12 years back, Fireman Eric looks at this and I'm like, there's no way. I was, now granted, a lot's changed, raises have went up and stuff, but I talked to some of my fireman buddies and, they're not, maybe they're pulling in low 6 figures, depending on the department you work at and all of those things. But then, a lot of their spouses, in education, maybe making 50. So maybe they're pulling in 150, 160 a year and living fine in Florida. But so tell me, what are some tips? Yeah, let's go.
I don't know. This is like the most bummer video.
Don't get discouraged. No, I'm trying to spin
this?
It as I know people living just fine. It's Smart Asset.
Makes me want to drink. Hey, so first thing, The way they came up with this was the 50-30-20 rule. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
The 20 part is where I would focus. So that's the first thing we do with clients is we go, okay, well, 20% is retirement savings, general savings, and paying off debt, right? So that's those extra dollars. Well, start with the thing that's the furthest in the future. So retirement. I don't know anybody. I don't think I have a single client that saves 20% of their money towards retirement. That has to. Some people maybe want to and get ahead or whatever. But so let's start with that number. And let's work backwards. So we want that number to be as low as possible. Don't fall for the whole put 15% away and that's what you need to do. What's your number, right? A lot of times we find it's 8%, 11%, somewhere in there. And we'll do it in a way so that as you're saving, if you need some of that money, you can still take it out, right? I don't want to get you in trouble there. So don't think of the 20%, first of all, as like, oh my God, I have to take 20% of my money and somehow save for all these things. Let's just go through. All right, of the 20, what do we have to work with? Make that retirement number as small as possible. I'm like the only guy that says that, or we're the only advisors that say that, because we can figure out the number. Make it the lowest you can make it.
Yeah, you've got to look at your goals. When did you start working? I mean, if you're 20 years old and looking at this and you're like, well, I need to save 20%. I want to retire at 60. Maybe if you want to retire at 45, that's you're going to need to save quite a bit more. But if you're 45 and you're just starting to save, okay, you might actually have to save more than 20%. It's going to depend on you and your goals and how you want to live in retirement.
Yeah, and don't let anybody go like, oh, well, you got to save 25%. You go, no, what else you got? Right? Are we factoring in that I will downsize my house and have some equity and maybe I'll buy something cheaper or live in a condo in West Virginia, apparently?
Yeah.
So think about those. Do they have them there?
I don't know.
Oh, so
I don't know.
I mean, maybe you go.
I think my uncle lives in West Virginia.
Mississippi or West
where his
Virginia?
place is. Virginia or West Virginia?
West Virginia and Mississippi, top of my list. I'm going.
Okay.
But don't let anybody go, oh, it's just this dollar amount. No, what's the strategy there? What if I put sell my house or sell some assets or something? So dig a little deeper on that.
Yeah, and when you're talking your salaries and you're looking at all these things and how much you're saving, you also want to really think through the job you have and what kind of benefits they offer. Because if you've got, a 401k that's matching 6-8% right there, that's a huge savings that they're also contributing towards retirement. I was mentioning, Fireman Eric back in the day, well, that had a pension. And yeah, they were paying 3% into the pension. And, if you married somebody in education, they were also paying into their pension. But you were going to be retiring and having a pension, which is going to give you a lot more opportunity to have money at the end of this. So if you're saving 20% plus having a pension, holy smokes, can you imagine those people?
Yep.
So that wasn't even my tip though, by the way.
Oh, okay.
My tip was actually really just thinking through and living within your means because, yes, 50%, to fix things, 30% discretionary, 20% savings. It is finding your number, but it's also, that 30% discretionary or even the 50% that you have to pay on, really breaking that down and starting to figure that out. Because I think that, this number, the number Smart Asset are providing is really providing a pretty, or actually a really comfortable lifestyle versus for most people. I mean, again, talking with Cody on things, but still, I bet that's a nice apartment. Is it a nice apartment that you'd have to, live in for $90,000?
For $90,000?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a 500 square foot apartment with no balcony.
500. Is it that bad? Is it that bad? Like,
I've never been. He's never invited me.
I said you guys could come stay with us when you were moving.
Okay. So
we didn't.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Okay. All right. I saw what was the president who got up there one time or somebody running for office and said something so disconnected when it came to it was a gallon of milk or something.
Oh,
crazy.
the guy, Howard Schultz from Starbucks. It was like a gallon of milk. He's like, I don't know, like $2 or whatever. And was like, what?
It's funny when people say that, so disconnected. Now I'm sitting over here all right, is this really me at this point talking about this number?
Mr. Home Builder. Okay, well, so my thought, another tip. You can be efficient with how you save the money. So if you decided, okay, well, 11% is going to go away and I'm going to get 3% from my 401k or whatever, have somebody or sit down and work it out. What dollars should be going where, right? There may be more beneficial in certain years where you have higher income or lower income years if your spouse had a baby, stayed home or whatever. Adjust. Don't just automatically say, well, 10% goes to my 401k. What if it should be 7% to the 401k and 3% to the Roth because this year's a little bit different income-wise? Yeah. So don't just give up and set it and forget it. It should be like a review thing that you do there.
And on that too, thinking through so many people, I'm like, just the life and how life changes. How about the number of people that I've known that have, really I'm in kind of that area right now where still, my youngest one's finishing preschool. And so, you've got the daycare, the preschool, all these expenses that eventually will fall off. I've got friends that are, basically paying $25,000, $30,000 in daycare expenses. Then they're going to have the education. Maybe they have after school care, depending on, if both spouses are working and things. But oftentimes you're going to have a little bit of a decrease. Don't fill that up. Don't say, hey, you know what? Well, now that we're not spending it on that, we're going to go put it towards this. That's where you have the opportunity to now start saving for retirement and, figuring what you need, because, creep lifestyle shows up, what is it called? The lifestyle creep. Comes in. It's like, well, we were spending $2,000 on daycare. Now we're going to go and buy a boat.
Hey, that's that's a skit.
I just thought
we need to do a skit. Lifestyle creep is an actual person.
Yeah.
Like, what if lifestyle creep was like an actual creep, but
Yeah.
that was trying to get you to spend your money? Coming. And by the way, I fell for that. When Haley left down here we have VPK, she went into kindergarten and we didn't have to pay the $100 and something a week to go there. I was like, honestly, it was the first time I felt wealthy.
Yeah.
Because you have that money. And I don't remember what I did, but I'm sure I could have done something better.
So true.
Careful there.
So true. Would you hear the song about the tortilla?
No?
Actually, it was more of a rap. Last week, Dustin got me this.
Yeah,
So
you
now
go.
he gets all the dumb dad jokes.
That's it.
And more.
Forever.
I'm just going to read them every morning. You come into the office and be like, hi, good
No, don't
morning.
waste them.
Here's a joke.
I'll go with one that we could probably not have to bleep out. How about that?
Oh, really? That's
What? Did you get it?
no.
Is that not?
I get it. I totally get it.
Okay.
There's no
You know what happened?
man, this guy.